You're in a tense conversation, or someone just said something deeply hurtful, but instead of pushing back or explaining, you completely shut down. Our culture insists constant communication is the only way to solve a problem. We are told to use our words and talk it out. So when that sudden silence hits, the people on the other side tend to draw a harsh conclusion. They assume you are stonewalling, acting apathetic, or deliberately giving the cold shoulder. Believing a quiet person simply doesn't care hides the intense psychological event happening under the surface. What looks from the outside like an empty void of communication is actually a dense, active barrier. We frequently misdiagnose silence. This stillness is a psychological shield, deployed for survival when the environment feels too volatile for speech. To understand why this shield goes up, we have to look inside the mind at the exact moment the hurt occurs. The subconscious performs a rapid threat assessment. It calculates the emotional environment and determines that trying to express the pain right now is unsafe. This is emotional self-protection. As nodes in the emotional center flare up, the brain suppresses verbal output, dimming speech centers to prioritize emotional defense. This creates an articulation gap. Dense clusters of emotional data jam the neurological pathways leading to speech, preventing the translation of feeling into language. The sheer volume and complexity of the hurt make instant verbalization a biological and mental impossibility. The mind must coordinate syntax, vocabulary, and motor control to speak. This energy is diverted instead to simply bearing the emotional weight of the event. In moments of extreme vulnerability, silence is the brain's only viable strategy to prevent a state of psychological overload that could lead to emotional exhaustion. This reaction is heavily influenced by a person's long-term historical emotional data. Habitual silence is often driven by a concept known as learned futility. The brain scans past communication attempts, recalling instances where explaining led to negative outcomes, until data points converge into silence. If words historically failed to secure safety, the brain conserves energy by bypassing speech entirely and routing data straight into internal processing. While the person looks still, they are in a highly active mental state, sorting through the pain behind closed doors. Going quiet is an efficient, learned adaptation to environments where being heard was never guaranteed. We can now look at the silent individual through the lens of their active internal state. This silence suggests that the person is feeling things too deeply to speak, indicating an active processing of high-intensity pain. These moments provide a psychological laboratory, offering the isolation required to process pain and begin self-care. For those who go quiet, recognize your shield as a protective strategy that functions to keep your emotional integrity intact. For the observer, demanding an immediate explanation forces them to drop defenses before they feel psychologically safe. True emotional intelligence requires honoring the silent shield and giving internal pain the time it needs to be processed.